Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to create a first-person controller in Godot from scratch. By the end of this video, you'll have a player that can walk, run, jump, and look around using touch controls. So let's get started. Here we are with our empty Godot project. Before we start, there's one thing I want to mention. I've already added some textures to the file system panel that I'm going to use in this project. You can download these textures from the GitHub link in the pinned comment. First, I'll create a 3D scene. I'll rename the root node 3D to main. Now I'll click the three dots at the top and select Add Environment to Scene. I'll open the three-dot menu again and select Add Sun to Scene. The Directional Light 3D, or sun, gives our scene directional lighting, similar to sunlight in the real world. Now I'll long press on the main node and select Add Child Node. I'll search for CSG Box 3D and create it. From the inspector, I'll change the size. I'll set X to 100, Y to 0, and Z to 100. This will give us a large surface that we can use as the ground for our player. Now from the inspector, I'll enable Use Collision. This is important because we don't want the player to fall through the floor. The collision allows the player to physically interact with this surface. Next, under Geometry, I'll open Material Override and create a standard Material 3D. Then, under Albedo, I'll select Texture and choose Quick Load. Here, I'll select the ground texture that I added earlier. Now I'll open UV1 and enable Triplanar. This makes the texture project correctly across the 3D surface without requiring us to manually create UV coordinates. I'll also change the scale from 1 to 0.3. This makes the texture appear larger on the floor. I'll also rename the CSG Box 3D to Floor to keep the scene organized. Now let's add the mobile controls. I'll long press on Main, add a child node, and search for Canvas Layer. I'll create it. Now I'll long press on the canvas layer and add a virtual joystick. From the inspector, I'll change the joystick size from 100 to 200. I'll also change the tip size from 50 to 100. I'll leave the actions exactly as they are. Now under Transform, I'll set the position X to 200 and position Y to 450. This places the joystick near the bottom left corner of the screen. Now we need to create the actions that our buttons will use. I'll go to Project, Project Settings, and then Input Map. Here I'll add a new action called Jump and click Add. Then I'll create another action called Run. These actions allow our UI buttons to communicate with the player script using Godot's input system. Now I'll close the Project Settings window. I'll go back to the canvas layer, long press it, and add a touchscreen button. I'll rename it to Jump Button. From the inspector, I'll open Texture Normal, select Quick Load, and choose my Jump Button texture. The button is currently too large, so under Transform, I'll change the scale from 1 to 0.15. Then I'll set its position X to 1100 and position Y to 440. This places the jump button near the bottom right side of the screen. Now, under Action, I'll select the jump action that we created earlier. Now let's create the Run button. I'll long press on the canvas layer again and add another touchscreen button. I'll rename it to Run Button. From the inspector, I'll select Normal Texture, choose Quick Load, and select my Run Button texture. I'll change the scale from 1 to 0.12. Then I'll set its position X to 1200 and position Y to 330. This places it above and slightly to the side of the jump button. Finally, under Action, I'll select the Run action that we created earlier. And now all of our basic scene setup is ready. Let's save our scene. Now I'll long press on the main node and add a character body 3D. I'll rename it to Player. Now I'll long press on the player and add a collision shape 3D. From the inspector under Shape, I'll create a capsule shape 3D. I'll rename the collision shape 3D to Player Body. Since the player is currently inside the floor, I'll select the player node and go to Transform Position. I'll change the Y value to 1. Now the player is standing on top of the floor. Next, I'll long press on the player and add a node 3D. I'll rename it to Head. Then I'll long press on the head and add a camera 3D. Now we have a camera attached to the player's head. Let's press play and select current for the camera. And as you can see, we can now see the environment around us. We also have our joystick and buttons visible on the screen. However, none of the controls actually do anything yet. So let's go back and make them functional. I'll select the player node and click Attach Script. I'll create the script. Now our player script is open. I'll save the scene. At the top of the script, Godot has already created this line for us, extends character body 3D. This tells Godot that our script extends character body 3D. In other words, our player script inherits the functionality of character body 3D, which allows us to use things like velocity, collision detection, and move and slide. Now let's start writing our controller. First, I'll create some exported variables. These variables control the main settings of our player. Walk speed controls how fast the player moves normally. Run speed is the movement speed when the run action is pressed. Look sensitivity controls how sensitive the camera is when we drag our finger across the screen. Jump velocity controls the initial upward velocity of the jump, and gravity controls how quickly the player falls back toward the ground. I'm using export here, so these values are also available directly in the inspector, which makes it easy to adjust the controller without changing the code. Next, I'll create an onReady reference to our head node. This gives us an easy way to access the head node from our script. We'll use it later to rotate the camera vertically when the player drags on the screen. Now we need to know which finger is controlling the camera. I'll create an integer variable for that. We use -1 to mean that currently there is no touch controlling the camera. When the player touches the right side of the screen, we'll store that touch's index here. This is especially useful on mobile because we need to separate camera movement from the virtual joystick and buttons. Now I'll create our input function. This function receives input events from Godot. First, we check if the event is a screen touch. If the touch is pressed, we check whether its X position is greater than half of the screen width. In other words, we're checking if the player touched the right half of the screen. We also check that the look touch index is still -1, meaning no other touch is currently being used for looking around. If both conditions are true, we store that touch's index. This allows us to identify the specific finger that is controlling the camera. Now we need to reset that value when the finger is released. When the touch is released, we check whether it belongs to the touch we're using for looking around. If it does, we reset the look touch index back to -1. This tells the controller that there is no active look touch anymore. Next, we'll handle screen dragging. Here we check if the input event is a screen drag. Then we make sure the drag comes from the same finger that we previously identified as our look touch. The horizontal movement rotates the entire player around the Y-axis. This controls looking left and right. The vertical movement rotates the head around the X-axis. This controls looking up and down. Finally, we use clamp to limit the vertical rotation. Without this limit, the player could rotate the camera too far and completely flip it upside down. Now let's create the physics process. Physics process runs at a fixed physics rate, making it the appropriate place for movement and physics calculations. First, we check if the player is not on the floor. If the player is in the air, we apply gravity to the Y velocity. We multiply gravity by delta so the movement is consistent regardless of the frame rate. Next, let's add jumping. Here we check if the jump action was just pressed. We also check is on floor, so the player can only jump when they're standing on the ground. When both conditions are true, we set the player's vertical velocity to our jump velocity. This gives the player an upward force and starts the jump. Now we need to decide how fast the player should move. This is a short conditional expression. If the run action is currently pressed, current speed becomes run speed. Otherwise, it uses walk speed. So we can use the same movement code for both walking and running. Now let's get the movement input. Input.getVector combines our 4 directional inputs into a single vector 2. The x component represents horizontal movement, while the y component represents forward and backward movement. Then we convert that 2D input into a 3D direction. We use the player's transform basis so that movement follows the direction the player is facing. Finally, we normalize the vector so diagonal movement doesn't become faster than movement in a single direction. Now we'll apply the movement. If we have a movement direction, we set the player's x and z velocity based on that direction and our current speed. This is what actually makes the player move across the 3D world. If there is no movement input, we need to slow the player down smoothly. Instead of instantly setting the velocity to 0, move toward gradually brings the horizontal velocity back to 0. This gives the movement a smoother stop. And finally, move and slide. This tells the character body 3D to actually move using its current velocity. It also handles sliding along surfaces and works together with the collision system. And that's our first-person controller. Now it's time to test everything we've built. I'll press play. And as you can see, we can now use the joystick to move the player around. If I drag my finger across the screen, I can look around and control the direction of the camera. The jump button allows us to jump. And while we're moving, if we hold the run button, the player moves at a higher speed. So now we have a complete basic mobile first-person controller with movement, camera control, jumping, and running. And that's it for this tutorial. If you want to learn how to create a third-person controller in Godot, I've made a tutorial for that as well. You can watch it right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.